Welcome back, travelers. Relatively recently, we discussed with you one of the most popular characters of the game, Dainsleif, and due to the fact that relatively recently the developers released a stream dedicated to the next region, namely the region over the edge, a lot of interesting information about various and highly anticipated characters began to appear in open sources. So sit back and relax. I propose now to talk about the most mysterious character, Dainsleif, and try to figure out what he will be like in theory, as well as when he can become playable and whether he will be useful at all. But let's start by remembering who Dave is and why the community is interested in him. From the story side, Dainsleif is the first character to simultaneously start two of the game's most interesting storylines out of three, namely the Abyss branch, which is still adding a lot of new stuff, including Skirk, which will soon become playable. It is also directly connected to the Khaenri'ah, on which, by the way, most of the game's lore is built. So the character, if not the most important in the game, is certainly one of them. Top-up crystals from lootbar.gg. It's 100% safe and secure top-up platform for games like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. With PS5 and Xbox players can also. Raiden Shotgun and Teviat Times are using for crystals. Save up to 25% of actual in-game price and get 10% discount coupon. Go to Lootbar, then Genshin Impact. Choose a pack, put UID, and select region and pay. Get double the currency for first time in-game top-up. Link description and pin comment. From the game, we know that Dainsleif was the captain of the guard at the palace in the underground kingdom of Khaenri'ah about 500 years ago, where a catastrophe occurred before the beginning of the story of the world traveler Tevat. So Dainsleif, if you can say so, was luckier than others, and he became one of the immortals and periodically appears in the main plot of the regions and tells us about what Khaenri'ah was like. And he is also the only one who gave the traveler a direct and clear answer to where the twin is now, with whom the player was separated at the beginning. And in general, to put it briefly, the character is very charismatic, interesting, and was also officially presented by the developers as a game character in one of the first trailers for the game. Now that we've refreshed our memories of who Daiv is, let's talk about what players are currently discussing in open sources. Well, first of all, it is clear that it is no secret to anyone that, in theory, he can most likely appear in the new plot of the game, since he does this in absolutely every region. But the most interesting thing is that, according to rumors from open sources, in theory, we might even be allowed to play as him. And even if this is true in theory, then of course, we won't be shown its real mechanics. Since how many times have we already made theories about how a new element will be added for Dainsleif or the same Skirk? But in the end, all characters of this type simply get a regular God's Eye in the plot, like Skirk, for example. And for now, it's useless to guess what element Dainsleif will have. Maybe that gameplay moment will reveal it to us, if there is one at all. Well, that is, we will understand from the attacks there and so on. Well, and Dainsleif as a whole can even theoretically come out in the next region, since Varka and Alice, and in general a bunch of cult characters have already been officially announced there. So we'll wait for further official information from the developers, and as soon as something new appears, I'll obviously tell you about it. So that's how things are. What do you think about the game Dainsleif, and are you looking forward to it? Be sure to write about it in the comments. And that's how things are.